So this was a fun moment yesterday at a congressional hearing. Representative Keith Self is recognizing Sarah McBride, the trans congressman. But another representative, Bill Keating, does not like how Self introduces McBride. And that leads to this rather hilarious exchange. Let's listen to it.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you
standard-
repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Have you no decency? I don't think I've ever heard someone use that phrase in real life, non-sarcastically, so that was a lot of fun. I was kind of expecting him to drop maybe a "why I never" next. That would have been great. Anyway, Representative Self is quite obviously in the right here. Bill Keating is humiliating himself in an attempt to virtue signal. McBride is a man, that's a fact. We aren't going to lie, we're not playing along with the charade. And that's it. It's Mr. McBride. That's what he is. Now, and he can identify as whatever he wants. He can see himself however he wants to see himself. He can say whatever he wants to say about himself. But he cannot force other people to play along or force other people to say the words that he wants them to say. That's not how it works. But what I really want to highlight here is the progress that we've seen. Because 5 years ago, this moment would have been pretty unimaginable. 5 years ago, almost every elected Republican in national office would have respected the pronouns. And they were respecting the pronouns 5 years ago. Now, there wasn't a trans congressman back then, but they were respecting pronouns. And now we have Republicans referring to this man as a man during hearings. And this is not the first time. It happened a couple of weeks ago. And of course, there's been the Republican backlash against McBride using the women's room. So just altogether, his reception by Republicans has been quite different from what it would have been 5 years ago, or even 2 or 3 years ago. This is a different climate. It's a different world. And that's the big takeaway. Now, the Democrats, on the other hand, have not changed. Democrats react the same way to this sort of thing as they would have 5 years ago. They have not changed. They seem basically prepared to ride the trans train all the way over the cliff until it splatters on the rocks down below. I mean, they're going to ride this thing to the end. The trans agenda has almost single-handedly destroyed the Democrat Party. I mean, it really has. If I were a Democrat, I would be far more ticked off at the McBrides of the world than at Republicans, because they're the ones who have driven my party into total irrelevance, all for the sake of this tiny fraction of the population. As a Democrat, that's how I would see it. That our whole political operation, our whole agenda has been completely destroyed by these trans activists. They have almost single-handedly ruined everything if you're a Democrat. And I'm sure many Democrats do feel that way, but they can't say it. They'll never say it. They cannot say it. They lack the courage, they lack the will, they lack the backbone to extricate themselves from this madness. So it will destroy them. And you love to see it. You love to see it. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to listen to my full podcast on the go, you can check out The Matt Walsh Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.